Hello and welcome to Winter's Tide, a 5th edition campaign set in the world of Acalix. My name is Devyn, I am the DM and host for this evening, and I welcome you to join my friends and I as we explore the glacier slopes and the icy depths of Trost, a dangerous and mystical land. Hopefully, you enjoy. Don't judge me too harshly. That kind of introduces the mood and feeling of the campaign. So, and this is the part where I get nervous and embarrassed. It's amazing, I tell you.
Tell us.
I know, right?
Tell us all your secrets.
Cold. From the first moment you took a breath, the overwhelming feeling was cold. And it was noise. Pumps of the steam engines, the rattle of the pipes as the steam made its way through them. And again, cold. Not much has changed since you were born. Outside the domes that provide heat and light, with technologies beyond most people's wildest imaginations, the outside world is cold. Staying out there for too long leads to death. You stand in a great temple of technology, where, in the absence of sunlight in the overcast days, a great glass dome provides for you everything you could possibly need to live a satisfying, if not fulfilling life. But slowly, people are noticing a change. Some years, the crops aren't growing as well. Some days, the rattling of the pipes seems to quiet and still. And even worse, what little heat there was is becoming scarcer. So, that technological wonder that's kept you alive for your entire life, kept you from truly feeling the cold, is dying. And that's where we start. You folk are in the middle of a city dome that is very much more a tourist attraction, one could say. It's the only dome that has this sort of lake in the center, a beachfront. It's near tropical on its best days. On its worst, it gets more than a little icy. Recently, there have been whispers of things come from the caves to the southwest. Certain creatures made of ice and bone that are troubling the local populace. But of course, that's none of your concern. The three of you are here today to relax and enjoy a nice day at the beach. And if you guys don't mind, I'll get you to go around and do a slight introduction for your character. Just give me your race, class, your kind of ambitions, and maybe a little bit about who you are. So go ahead, Boris.
Oh, you want me to go first? All right. So I am a human fighter samurai. I don't know how you want me to introduce that, but my ambitions are really just to survive. I have grown up on the streets. I don't really trust people too much. Sorry, I'm losing my stuff here. Yeah, I think that I've been through a lot, and nobody should have to go through that, and it really sucks. But it's kind of the hardships have allowed me to survive in this crazy place, and yeah, I guess I'm just trying to survive, really.
Okay, Ivar.
Okay, so Ivar is a Finnish looking human. Got some kind of beady green eyes with kind of, I want to say, amber-like hair. He dresses moderately well. He packs on a little bit less onto what he carries around. And his bonds are more, or his kind of main mission is that he senses a great loss of life as being part of the grave domain. He knows that all life comes to an end, but there's something that is trying to end lives too early, and he is set out to try and figure out what is going on.
All right then, and Buckets.
I am Buckets. I'm a dragonborn stone sorcerer. I have an imaginary friend named Noodles. I will talk to Noodles every once in a while. We get along well. I'm convinced of the significance of my destiny and blind to my shortcomings and the risk of failure.
So what's your main goal in life then?
To get better at sorcery.
Fair enough.
Because I'm awesome.
All right. So, as I said, you guys are enjoying a nice, all expenses already paid, stay at a beach. Now, there is a kind of beachfront property that you guys were able to rent out for a reasonable price. It stands to reason that you guys have actually been here before and that you are actually friends. And the place is more of a touristy kind of feel to you, all of you being independents and not actually tied to one of the 10 great farming families that run the dome itself. While you are relaxing on this lovely beachside thing with the false sun hanging maybe 200 feet overhead, you begin to hear kind of an excited whisper flow through the rest of the people. And very quickly you find yourselves alone on the beachfront. What do you want to do?
Look around. Perception check, I guess. See if I notice where everyone went.
Or you could just follow them.
Oh, so we can see them all leaving?
You do see them leaving, yeah. Most of them still in their sort of beach-like attire, which you know is going to be a mistake, getting much further than about 50 feet away from the pool.
Okay, more so looking why they're leaving.
With the domes themselves being so wide across, it's really hard to see what's happening on the outside when you are literally in the center. But you can try to make a perception check, I suppose.
It's not a very good perception check.
As far as you can tell, there's some sort of excited going on. Maybe somebody's returning, maybe a merchant's departing a little too early, and some of the families are upset. It could be any number of reasons, really.
Do you guys want to follow them? Or is there anything else you want to do?
This seems interesting. I will probably go and I wouldn't say like be in the in the bulk amount of them walking, but I'll be behind them, just observing and trying to see what's going on.
Ooh, can I just take the minute to put my clothes on?
Yeah, you can take a minute or so to actually don clothing and armor if you like. Yeah.
Stab them. Muffin Masher says to stab them.
How far away are they?
Well, every minute or every second, really, that you spend actually donning your armor and making sure that you're fully clothed, they do get further and further away. But they're at the end of the minute, they're only about 200 feet away. The last of the stragglers, a small child, dwarven by the looks of him, is just now kind of going down the path and out of sight.
Is a minute a long enough time for Ivar to put his armor on? You wearing medium-sized armor, or?
I do wear medium armor, scale mail, so.
So a minute.
Yep.
Isn't it 5 minutes for?
How about Devyn?
Sorry. Anyways, whatever.
Can I run towards them a ways until I'm approximately 120 feet away, and cast message to one of the people?
All right, what would you say to them?
I'd say, hey, what's going on? Why is everybody leaving?
So the person in question, which of course, if you're targeting the last person in the queue, would be that small dwarvish child.
No, not the child. Like, go
Okay.
far enough that I speak to an adult who knows what they're talking about. Do I have to press this button?
No, I know what message does. It's fine. So you just poke one of the adults, a fully grown human, who kind of looks around a little confused, and she as she turns back, she realizes that you're kind of sending a message to her. She responds with, "Well, I don't really know, but everyone started moving this way, and I think it might be the return of the Valkyrie." And then she kind of wanders off.
Okay. So I'm guessing they're still back getting closed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whereas you don't wear armor, so you can just like pull on your overcloak and call it good.
Yeah. So I'm gonna cast message back to them.
Okay.
And be like, "Hey, it's the Valkyries. They're apparently possibly coming. That's what this lady says."
Oh. That's not something I want to go see. I am going to look for a very small place that I can crawl inside and hide.
Around here, the smallest places, of course, would be underneath the chairs that you're currently sitting on, or you could go to one of the changing rooms or to one of the beach houses and kind of hide.
Yes, I'm going to head over to the beach houses and look for a hidey hole, perhaps underneath the beach house.
Okay, go ahead and roll a perception and then a stealth.
Nice.
I'll give you advantage on that stealth check then.
That was not a good stuff.
That was not. So you take a few moments to actually decide where you're going to hide. You find the closest beach house to you, and you just immediately dive directly underneath its deck. You believe yourself to be supremely stealthy, but those on the outside can actually see your slightly colorful armor peeking out around the edges of a staircase. And Ivar?
Do I know what the Valkyries are?
The Valkyrie are the guard patrol. They're the ones that keep peace both inside the dome and directly outside it. They are warrior women who are renowned for their strength and ferocity.
I'll wander over there and just see what's going on.
Okay. So the wander over there, it takes you a little while to get over there. So you just catch the tail end of the parade of the Valkyrie, which, when you came here, you saw the tail end of them leaving, which was about 20 strong. What you see now was a little disparaging. From what you can tell, only about 6 of the Valkyrie returned, and those that did return were in rather bad shape. You can see that their armor, typically a gleaming plate mail, is wrecked and ruined in places. Some of it's torn, the chain underneath broken, the links gone. The leather straps seem to be barely holding them together. And the famous Valkyrian cloaks, the ones that can be protected from the cold, not with them.
Okay. Interesting. Do they look like they're talking to anyone, or are they like still walking into the town with their heads held high? Are they looking like defeated?
Go ahead and make an insight check.
Ooh, fancy. Skill I'm good at.
Nice. So from what you can tell, they definitely do seem defeated, though they're putting on a brave face. They're trying their best to walk without leaning on each other, but a person you don't recognize, as you're not from really around this area, but she wears the captain's patch, so obviously she's a leader of some sort, is being essentially dragged by 2 of her subordinates.
Okay. I am still in the process of getting my spells out and out of the way. None of them seem to be dying, though, right? Or does the one that looks to be the captain seems to be dying at all?
She kind of seems to be on the verge of death, but stable for now.
Can't you just channel?
No. No. My channel hurts people, my friend.
Oh, never mind.
My channel helps you kill things. Yeah, I'm called the cleric of the grave for a reason. I keep things out and I put things in. give and take.
Uh,
I think I'm going to follow them, and then just like once they're like things are kind of settling down, just see if I can get any information while also like giving out my cleric abilities. So like providing healing and stuff like that for information of what exactly happened. Especially that I saw that there was 20 of them and now there's only 6. And as being a keeper of the grave, I don't think their times were up yet, or should have been up yet. Could have very well been, but it's very strange for these types of people to have suddenly died that quickly.
And your self bucket's doing anything interesting?
I'm gonna go and help them. Well, just lay the one girl down who's dying. And just to help wherever I can. Obviously, I don't really have any healing abilities, so just help out and ask them, what happened, who did this, where is the rest of the Valkyrie.
Okay, I'm actually going to have each of you roll a persuasion check then.
Each of them?
Yeah, because you're hiding. You're just hiding.
Oh, you ready for this +0 persuasion?
Yeah, man. Oh, that's great. Yeah, love it.
How do I do that? Do I just click on it?
Yeah, just click on persuasion.
Oh, my God.
Much better roll.
That's gorgeous.
It's not even...
Okay, sorry. Before we go on, just because I haven't used this before, what is it like? What do the numbers mean on each side? Like,
that's advantage or disadvantage. It'll always roll 2. So
the
if you have
left would be
advantage,
your first roll.
better than 2.
Yeah, left would be your
But
first roll, right would be your second roll.
okay.
So if you had advantage, you could take the higher. If you have disadvantage, you would take the lower.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So,
Continue.
So between the two, you actually manage to walk up. You try to help out. Almost immediately, Ivar, you are rebuffed. You're pushed away from the captain of the Valkyrie because you're a man, and they make no bones about that. But you don't belong here. This is not your issue. Go back to farming a field or something. Leave this to the real women. Whereas
you want to be
Buckets,
a woman.
You are welcomed, made to be welcomed immediately because you yourself, being older than 16, have spent some time in the Valkyrie. You've kind of done their work before. Now, it may not have been out in the field. You may have been just clerical, but you've been a Valkyrie before, and they know that. You have to be. But they make you kind of feel welcomed and stuff. And as you're talking to them, one of them just kind of shifts the weight of the captain onto you as well, so they're not quite as stumbly. What do you ask them?
What happened? Where's the rest of you? How did this happen?
Well, we were walking around the dome, and we came across a kind of unusual thing. We found the corpse of a dwarf. It was a small one, to be sure, perhaps no more than 4 feet tall. And he seemed to be wearing nothing but metal, no cloak, no overcloak, and no weapons. So when we were inspecting the body, we were ambushed by some of the ice methods in the southern caves. They didn't exactly treat us well, as you can see. The others are still out there. They had to make camp to deal with the other wounded, but the captain was so severely wounded we had to bring her back.
Okay. So they've sent Ivar away.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, I have left, going like whatever.
Okay. I'd like to ask them. Would you allow my cleric friend to help heal you? He has healing abilities. Can he help?
Go ahead and make another persuasion check, this time with disadvantage. That's pretty good.
Still not bad.
Okay, so her name is Gilla. As she kind of looks up to you, she goes, well, typically we wouldn't allow such a thing, but if you would vouch for him, then perhaps you should be allowed. Traditionally, no man may lay a hand on a Valkyrie, but if you say it's all right, we'll have to believe you.
Yes, I can vouch for him.
So,
I don't
Ivar?
even know that he needs to lay hands on you.
You're up, Mr. Ivar.
Cool. Here, give me one quick second. Because I believe that I have something for this. Because Cure Wounds is a touch, but I believe that I could use healing words on them, so that way I'm not touching them and still healing them.
100%. You could.
Yep. So I'll just explain to them that I do not need to touch you to give you at least a bit of healing, so you're now in no danger of just dying outright anytime soon until your actual time has come, and I'll cast Healing Word on the it's the captain, I believe, right? Okay. Let me go and double check. Yes, it's not going to do much. Actually, I think I have a third level. I think I have a second level, so I'll just do a second level spell. Do I have a 3 to my wisdom? I do. Heal her for 8 HP.
So you kind of walk over until you're within range, mutter a few quick words under your breath, and cast your hand towards them. You can see the captain immediately almost perk up. Her complexion immediately looks a lot brighter. He turns to the side, just coughs up a huge chunk of coagulated, black-looking blood. And, well, that was a lot better than I thought it'd be.
I'm just gonna go and do like one of the polite like head bow kind of thing.
Can you do that often?
Yes, actually, I can indeed.
Then we might have need of you on the front lines.
Oh shit, I could do that 6 times a day right now. Technically.
Well, if that's the case, there are many more that are injured. If you would go help them, I mean, you wouldn't have to fight. Don't worry, we won't make you fight. Of course, it's not men's place. But if you could help them with your clerical magic, something we don't see very often around these parts, I'd be more than willing to pay you for your services.
Well, it turns out that I do have business, in fact, in just exploring around the area, as my god has demanded I go and take a look around this area. So yes, I will take up your offer.
Good. With what you've helped me with today, I should be back out to the front in, I'd say, a day or so. If I meet you out there and such, I'd be more than willing to pay you a 25 gold piece sum, say, for every head of mine that you save.
Oh, all right. That sounds like plenty.
Though you may not want to go alone. The road between here and there can be dangerous. You should at least bring a woman or two with you to make sure you're safe.
Well, I already have one, and I'll motion over towards buckets.
Aye.
And I guess I will just have to find a second one.
Wish you luck. You should be able to follow our boot prints for the next day or so. The Stormsayers haven't seen a good blizzard coming for about a week now, so you should be safe.
Alright, perfect. I'll thank her for the information.
She'll kind of crawl back up to her feet and stagger a little bit, still wiping a bit of blood from around her mouth and spitting out this like disgusting brackish looking stuff. And instead of making her way back to the Valkyrie headquarters, she's actually going to a place, an inn that you've been to a few times before, called the Laughing Horse. She kind of stumbles her way in. You can hear her, even from like this 100 or so feet away, demanding a drink. So
Nice.
what do you guys want to do now?
Well, while they're doing that, I was wondering if I could be so when everyone went running, did like pretty well everyone had gone by us at that point, or was there still like a steady stream of people running by us, or what?
By the time that you had actually hidden yourself underneath the beach house, mostly everyone had gone. There were about 2 or 3 that kind of kicked around the place, but they've left since then.
Okay. I want to come out, since there's no one around, and take a look around and see if anyone in their hurry had left any stuff laying around that I can safeguard.
Just a moment here. Would you go ahead and roll a perception check for me, please?
Yes. That's not a bad perception check.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. So in taking a kind of quick look around, most people have the common sense to actually scoop up their valuables, but a lot of them left clothing behind. And out here, the fur that lines the clothing, which comes from a creature called a ven, is extraordinarily expensive. And you find more than a few overcloaks laying about the place. You could fetch a pretty penny if you were to guard it, as you say.
Alright. I will grab them, shove them into my bag as best I can, and head to my hovel.
Okay. So you do get a few ven fur cloaks. So you save probably about 5 gold pieces worth, which is not too bad at all.
Nice.
I assume Ivor and Buckets, you're going to go and try and collect your erstwhile friend?
Yes. Yes, we will.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast message again over to Boris.
I do believe the range is a little too limited. You'd have to be able to see
are
him.
we too far? Okay.
Yeah, and plus you'd have to be able to see him to point a finger at him.
Ah, yes. Okay, forget it.
Well, you guys would know where I live. If I'm actually friends with you, that means that I trust you, and so that means you would know where I live. So,
Keep in mind that you guys are independents here, which means you probably don't actually have a house.
By live, I mean like up on a roof somewhere in a hidden little corner that nobody that I'm aware of knows about. At least that's where I live.
Kind of fitting for you then, yeah.
Right beside a chimney, preferably. It's warm there.
Most people don't actually use fires. Most houses don't have
chimney. Okay, then close to where the steam pipes go, maybe there's an unrepaired or not as repaired section. There's kind of some steam blowing out in one area. It kind of keeps the area a little bit warmer, and I'm able to set up something a little bit incognito there that I can sneak into and keep away from
100%.
people.
So after a little while of kind of looking around, because you don't actually find Boris where you left him, you do kind of work your way towards where he typically hides himself during the nights when it starts to get cold, and find him huddled up to the steam vent, chuckling a little bit as he's kind of going through his collection of ven wool that he did not have before.
I'm just gonna kind of have like like the one corner of my lip kind of goes down into like not quite a frown, but kind of just like an unimpressed kind of look on my face, and then I quickly just shake it off and just be like, all right, Boris, we got some work we can go do.
Oh yeah,
25 gold for each Valkyrie saved.
Valkyries?
Yep.
I don't really like the Valkyries. Why would I want to save them? They'd chase me.
Well, if we save them, they won't chase you.
You don't know that. Maybe it's a trap. Maybe they just want to kill me out there. They've been trying for a long time. Almost my whole life.
I feel like us going out there to save their lives will change their opinion of that.
But it could just be a trick.
No, it's not a trick. You just need to come with us. Noodles says so. Ivar says so. Boris, just come with us.
I don't want to hurt anymore. Why would you put me into this situation? I think I just want to stay here. It's safe here. It's warm here. It's cold out there.
Oh man, I'm trying to figure out what to say. The
Yeah.
Boris. Boris. Oh god, this is going to be awful.
I did find some nice coats here. Look at how warm they are. I believe people just like gave these to me.
They
They're-
didn't give them to you. You
Yeah, they
stole
did.
them.
How would you know?
Because they weren't with you before,
Yeah.
and everyone left before we went to go and talk to people.
Yeah, they left them there for me.
No. No.
I want to try and because do we know that things are targeting the domes, Devin?
Not really. Like, not being Valkyries yourself currently, a lot of the martial matters that go around, kind of happen around the domes, aren't really your prerogative, so not something that most people would take care of. Just the Valkyrie.
Yeah. I'm gonna go and like start telling them that the god that commands me and kind of tells me the things. Oh, good god. Okay, that also works. Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna like go and tell like a really sap story of how my god has me on a divine mission to go and find out why all these things are dying, and then like my utmost brilliance is just like they're also giving us 25 gold. You do know what that does, right, Boris?
Yeah, I have gold.
Yeah, 25 gold is enough to live like a year in luxury here.
I have 20 gold. I'm okay.
Yeah, but what about the next year?
Well, maybe more people will leave coats laying around for me.
So they didn't give you the coats.
Yes, they left them laying around for me.
No. No, they
Besides, going out there and dealing with those creatures, that's for the women. We don't do that. We're not allowed to do that, I don't think.
Well, we have been given permission to go and do that.
Yes.
And
By
we also...
the mean guard lady.
Well, you know... I think we can change their perspective of what they think you are if we go and do this, Boris. Then you don't have to be scared of them. They won't chase you away. It'll be a good life. You can even get a house.
Does she still want the gold back that I stole from her?
At this point, I'm like, wait, what?
Well,
You did-
I mean, she was walking down the street, and I was right beside her, and she didn't see me, and her coin purse was right there, and I just kind of grabbed it, and I don't know, I guess she noticed, and she ran after me, but thankfully I know the city a lot better than she does, and I was able to get away from her. So, it's the one that yells a lot, right? That's who you were talking to?
At this point, like, my hand is, like, on my face, just like the, God. God damn it, Boris.
What? I have to do what I have to do to survive. They haven't given me any other way. But I'll come with you guys at least to the edge of the city, and we'll see from there. if you insist on this silliness. But if I see that guard captain, I'm running. I don't care.
So,
All right,
fortunately
boys.
for you folk, the vent fur cloaks that he stole would be enough to easily outfit you for a journey to the outside. Going without them, however, might not be such a good idea. In mechanics terms, if you spend too long outside, you will gain a level of fatigue without proper protection.
Well, would you look at that? We have the equipment to be outside too.
Oh, so first you shake your head at me, and now you want one of my coats.
Did the lady give me 25 gold for healing her? The first one?
No, she did not.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and take one of those coats.
Kind of like make a contested athletics check. Both of you roll athletics.
Athletics.
Mm-hmm.
What about acrobatics? As I do a flip.
Athletics.
Actually, you can do athletics versus acrobatics.
You can do it?
Yeah.
Okay, then I want to do acrobatics. And never mind that roll. I'll take the athletics roll.
Wow, so a 5 in your acrobatics. Go ahead and roll an athletics check, please.
I rolled a friggin' 2.
So
2
buckets,
plus 3.
athletics.
Oh, sorry, athletics.
So fuck it, athletics. Ha
So you guys kind of cat and mouse back and forth for a bit. Both of you just like not really trying, more like making an effort to look like you're trying, until both of you manage to face plant on the roof and nearly roll off the side.
I'm just gonna stare at this like, this is what's happening today.
Why are you trying to take my stuff? It was given to me fair and square. It's not yours.
You offered it to me.
No, I
5
didn't.
minutes ago. Yeah, you did. You even
No.
offered one to Noodles.
No.
Yes, you did.
Noodles can have one, but you can't.
Okay, I'll hold it for Noodles. but I
No,
need mine
Noodles
as
can
well.
have one, but
Yes.
you can't.
You told me 5
I'm
minutes
gonna
ago
wear it
that I
for
could
Noodles,
have
and then I put it on top of the one I'm already wearing.
Can I roll a persuasion check?
I'm just gonna like plop down off the roof, very very cautiously, and I'm just gonna ask Boris if I could have one. Or if I can borrow one.
I mean, because you're my friend, I'll give you one, even though these are really valuable. But you've been there for me, so I'll give you one. You didn't just come and try to grab it from me like buckets. What's wrong with you, buckets?
Noodles told me that you gave me one.
Well, Noodles was wrong. You have to say you're sorry and then ask for one nicely.
I am sorry.
Say it like you mean it.
I am sorry.
Okay, you can have one.
Oh, thank you.
So, with the cloaks, it gives you advantage on con saves against cold.
Nice.
The 3 of you do don them. You have another cloak kind of hidden off to the side still, and make your way towards the entrance. In doing so, you can see there's a lot of activity around the Valkyrie headquarters, which is fairly close to the gate. A lot of women are coming and going. Some are just kind of sitting around polishing up armor. Others are checking on their cloaks to make sure that they're still in good repair. Still others are running back and forth with tack and food in their hands, making sure that there's going to be enough for them when they make the trip.
Is there like a back door to get out of the city, or like a side door that's less traveled?
Each of the doors that lead outside have a Valkyrie outpost by them.
I'd prefer not to go through that.
You don't have to go through the outpost to get out. It's just by the door. As for the city of 8th, there are 3 distinct doors. However, to get to the southern side, you would want to go to the door that you're at. It cuts off a day's travel.
Okay. Okay. I guess we'll go that way.
Anyone else got anything else?
No, that was what I was looking for.
Because of the whole Valkyrie show and stuff, I assume the streets are still fairly packed our entire way down there.
A lot of people are kind of standing off to the side, discussing with themselves what might actually be going on, because the story that the Valkyries told Ivar and Buckets hasn't spread. They really haven't told anyone who's not essential, or as they believe, essential to the mission. So most people are kind of standing there, talking, whispering, wondering what's going on, leaving you actually a fairly clear exit out of the city. The city gates themselves stand partially ajar, but that's typical. The steam prevents any cold from getting in, so it's average, you know?
We don't really need a clear shot. That's fine. I'm also able to, because I know this location very well, just as like a mechanic thing, we're able to move twice as fast as our speed would normally allow.
Yep.
Yeah. But
that's for city travel, though. That's not a literal you move 60 feet around instead of 30 feet around.
No. I know. It just means that the speed you would normally go, you are able to go faster because you know your way around. Yep. You take shortcuts and whatever.
Yeah. Well, you guys weren't very far. You're only about a kilometer away from the city's gate anyway, so.
But I want to keep an eye out for guards and stealth into the crowds to make it so they don't see me.
Okay, roll a perception and a stealth check, please. No one even really notices you passing by them, so you're pretty sure no one would notice you from outside the crowd either. The 3 of you make your way towards the door, and Boris is going to part from the crowd to come and join you again as you leave. And as you step outside, the first thing that hits you is the sudden change in temperature. It goes from being a fairly, for you, balmy 17, 18 degrees Celsius to a drop to negative 30 almost instantly. And no matter how many times your body goes through that, it's still a sudden shock. So we'll get everyone to roll a con save, please.
Ugh.
Keep in mind that you do have advantage because you are wearing the cloaks.
Put our hoods on.
Okay. That means that Buckets, the minute the cold kind of touches your scales, you begin to breathe heavily. You're not really enjoying the outside venture, and it definitely disagrees with you. So you've gained a level of fatigue. Which is...
Told you it was cold out
exhaustion.
here.
So from now until you actually come back to a warmer temperature or what have you, you have disadvantage on any ability checks you make. So that means like any stealth, perception, or anything like that. Any of those checks you do take a disadvantage on. As you guys step outside the city, it just seems to get colder. You know the Valkyrie came from kind of around the side, and staying close enough to the dome that you're nearly touching it should keep you hot enough that you won't have to make another one of these kind of reflexive saves against the sudden influx of cold temperature. But I will get everyone to roll a flat d20 roll for me, please.
How do I do that? Oh,
Do we have a 10 or a 4?
Jeff.
What?
What do I type?
/roll space d20.
1d20. Oh, the 1.
Crit fail.
Devyn, just
Yep.
really quick. You said that, the cold hits me badly. Don't I have damage resistance against the cold?
You do have damage resistance to the cold, however, you're not immune. While any cold damage you take is halved, the physical act of being cold still affects your body the same way it would a regular human.
Okay.
So right now you're half frozen, which for a silver dragonborn is impressive.
Yeah.
Anyway, as you guys are walking around the side, it's the same sort of thing that you're used to. It's a path similar to the one that you walked when you came to 8th, along the steam vents. It's occasionally warm, usually very cold. The sun doesn't really shine through. Instead, is more of a bright light through the ever-present layer of clouds. Fortunately, like the good captain told you, there's no storm, but there is a bit of a brisk wind. It takes you the better part of a day to fully travel around the outside of the dome and eventually come across in the distance a kind of outpost. You can see they've set up a temporary shelter and a fire, which is kind of an expensive commodity, as wood's ridiculously hard to come by and is only actually grown in one dome. So pricey, to say the least. As you approach, you begin to hear the kind of moans of the wounded women who are sitting around the area. You do count, there are about 10 Valkyrie that are up and moving around, and 3 or 4 that are barely clinging to life. As you approach, one of them actually comes up to you, weapon drawn, this massive great sword held kind of loosely in 2 hands, like she knows what she's doing. She knows how to use it. And what have we here? A group of 3 travelers just minding their own business? Or a bunch of nuisances I'm going to have to deal with?
Was this one of the Valkyries?
Yep.
That we saw? I'm just going to... Did we have the name of the Captain Valkyrie at all?
I don't believe you guys asked for it, but she is rather well known. Her name is Astrid.
Astrid? Okay. Cool. So I'm just gonna do like another polite bow to the new Valkyrie that we found. And just do a greetings. I am Ivar.
I wasn't really talking to you, man. I was talking to the lady, butt out.
We were sent by the captain. This man here is a cleric. And she authorized him to come and help heal.
Fair enough. Get to work, man meat.
See, they're mean.
Yeah.
I just kind of stay on the other side of Ivar from them.
Do I see any injured ones?
Like I said, there are the 3 that are kind of moving around very hesitantly and slowly. You can see the open wounds in their body, but the blood itself seems to have frozen to their bodies in such a way as to stop the bleeding.
But they're obviously not doing.
They're not doing so hot. And
they're not doing so hot.
In your professional opinion, if you want to roll a check for me,
of a perception check or what?
If you are attempting to gauge the health levels of a
medicine.
Yeah, there you go.
19.
You can tell that they're probably not going to survive the week on the injuries they have currently. Now, without some pretty good attention or some, decent clerical healing.
Okay. Because these people I know do not like being touched by the men, right?
Correct.
The Valkyries. Okay.
She gave you permission. Come on, man meat, go touch all the pretty ladies.
Did they give me permission to touch them, or to use the healing word spell on them?
To heal them. It wasn't specified whether or not you were allowed to touch them.
Okay. Alright. Well, I'm gonna go up to the very first one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming she overheard the conversation. So I'm going to just like very simply, just because they are like talking down to me, which is slightly starting to piss me off.
Mhm.
This is like the second one. I'm just going to be like, all right, either I can go and put my hand on your shoulder and heal you for a lot, or I can speak words to you and heal you for a little bit less. Which one do you prefer?
The first one just kind of nods in assent and goes, I am okay with the one that gets me healed more, cleric.
All right, perfect. And I'm gonna, because she was so nice, she gets a second level healing touch. Womp.
Okay.
Which I believe is 2d8 plus my cleric modifier, if I do remember myself. Open up this.
Watch you roll 2 ones.
Yeah.
That should be 2d8 plus 3.
Cure wounds. Just want to double check. Yes. 2d8 plus 3.
Wow.
Wow. Fucking
That's some good healing.
fucking cursed it, dude.
Yeah.
Cursed it.
So you kind of go over and touch her on the shoulder. You can see this wave of glowing energy kind of pass across her body. And most of the scabs that are on her seem to flake off, and the frozen blood just chips away, leaving rather pale but unmarked skin. She kind of nods at you, a brief bit of thanks, and goes to shake your hand.
Oh, all right. I will accept the handshake, and then I'll continue on to the next one and repeat the same thing.
The ones that are actually injured seem more than receptive of your cleric abilities, and definitely love the fact that you're able to heal them.
All right.
Just going to do something right now. So as you are healing up the last one, this small half-elven girl who's really, she's no little more than a child, being an elf, when you feel something kind of odd pass over you, as you turn to look away, you can see in the faint distance a perception check on the horizon.
Oh man, that was smooth. 13.
You see an odd sort of twinkle to the snow, kind of like moving ice. And I'll get the other two to roll perceptions as well. Okay. So both Boris and Buckets actually see in kind of this clear detail these small creatures, maybe 1.5 feet tall, with wings made of just pure ice. Their bodies composed of bone, but frozen over. There's but a dozen of the things as they make their way towards you, winging through the air. But as you discover too late, they're not the only things you have to worry about, Ivar. As you turn back to your patient, you can see there's a massive sword, almost, of ice being pushed through her chest, and standing beside you is a sort of weird, almost invisible, blurry-lined creature that you would recognize as a history check.
Can we all see him?
I do not know.
Ivar, you would not know. No. But Boris, you recognize a winter orc when you see one. And that's actually where we're going to leave it for tonight. You guys kind of dropping into combat against a winter orc and a few of the vile creatures of
Forget
the realm.
combat, we're running away.
You're supposed to be a samurai.
would be fair.
What?
You're a samurai.
Doesn't mean I want to fight things out in the cold.